I have so many friends that are single and they say that the dating world right now is kind of a nightmare and they feel like people are wasting their time. This is Donaylle from Woosah Holistic Health Coaching, back again today to discuss a very important topic with my ladies who want to get married. We are going to talk about the 10 dating mistakes that women are making that's actually keeping them from becoming wives. I can help. So stay to the end while we cover all 10 points, and you are going to find these things very helpful. Number 1, playing games. Sometimes women think that because a lot of men may play games, that they should play them back. Maybe refusing to make eye contact or pretending like they don't care, or maybe not refusing to smile at someone, or maybe even having an attitude. None of that is going to work. For somebody who's looking for a husband, a provider, protector, relationship, not just somebody who's there to date for sport. That's not what this conversation is about. This is only for women who want to be married. Number 2, over investing. So what do I mean by that? You're just doing too much. You're like so overly excited that literally you get in the presence of a man and they say one thing and you're just laughing, even when the joke's not funny. That pushes people away. It's like you're trying way too hard. So we don't want to do that. We want to be friendly, but we don't want to be so overly friendly that we're like stalking their social media, that we're liking every post, that we're texting, calling. People don't like that, but men especially do not want to be chased. They want to be the chaser. They want to be the pursuer. So let them have the chance to do that. Number 3. You are unwilling to walk away and just be like, no, this is not working for me. When you see that you're not being treated properly and you have boundaries that are being crossed and you have standards and you see that those standards are not being met, you can't just be like, well, I've already been in it for a few months. I put all of this time and energy into this relationship. There's no way I'm going to start all over. No. You have to be ready and willing to walk away in order to maintain the standard that you have set for yourself. People can tell when you are just like holding on with such a tight grip that they can't breathe, and that also will push somebody away. But your willingness and your security to say, no, I'm not staying in this. This is not healthy. This is not what I want. I am willing to walk away. That's actually attractive, believe it or not. Number 4. Stop getting confused between what you're actually seeing and what is someone's potential. I've definitely done that in my younger years where I thought,
you know what? If this were the case, and if that were the case, and if this other thing were the case, they could be a really good guy.
But you're not going to be getting with the potential of a person. You would be getting with the actual person. So believe what you see, believe what you hear, accept what it is, instead of saying, well, I can just change them into whatever it is, or one day they might be what I want. So in the meantime, I'll just wait and try to manipulate them or control them into becoming what I want. It's not going to work. And it certainly isn't sustainable, and you will be miserable. So let's deal with what's real and what's not just in our imagination. Stop forgetting about what you said you wanted. You said, I want somebody who's consistent. I want somebody that is fiscally fit, financially stable. I want somebody who has a good relationship with their family. I am not going to be doing intimacy before marriage because I've done that before, and I'm not going to cheapen myself in that way anymore. How are you supposed to be seen as a high value woman to a man when you don't even keep your own standard? You don't even keep your own promises to yourself. That's no way to earn or keep someone's respect. You told them in the beginning, these are the standards, these are my boundaries, these are the ways that I want to be treated. But now, because maybe, he's over 6 feet tall and he has a certain amount of money in the bank, all of those things that you said were your standard, or the things that you said are your non-negotiables, all of a sudden that all went out the door and you're just doing all the things that you said you were never going to do. And so now they're not treating you with the same amount of value and respect that they initially had when they met you, because you are not the same as when they initially met you. You have now begun to devalue yourself and your standards, and the behavior that you will receive is going to match, because we always attract where we're at. So if we want to attract respect, then we have to be respectful of ourselves first and foremost if we want someone else to respect us. Number 6, falling for someone hard and fast and you don't even know them. Like, you might know that you like the way they walk, or you might like the way they talk. They might have a really deep voice. You like their hair, or you like their house. But you don't really know their deep inner person. You don't really know what they really truly think and feel about the most important things that are important to you, that are your values. You make excuses for him when you see him being rude to the server at the restaurant. You just see them being dismissive or treating them as less than. Or maybe you hear them making comments that may even sound a bit like they think that certain races are above another, but you just ignore it because, you like that they're so fit and they're always in the gym. That stuff is not gonna work for a marriage. It might work for dating for sport, but again, this is about attracting that husband, that provider, that protector. And if you can't even stand his values, but you didn't even take the time to know what they were, you just went in head first and kind of gave up on everything that matters to you, that is going to be a disaster. You have got to remember what you care about and stick to the script. Number 7, you would never want to allow yourself to be in a relationship where you have been cut off from everything and everyone you've ever known and ever loved. This is danger, danger, danger. If you went into a relationship and you had all these friends and you had hobbies and you had a closeness with your family and maybe you ate dinner on Sundays together or whatever it was, and then suddenly you realize, oh my word, this man has cut me off from everything. Firstly, that is such a red flag if you even see that happening, where a guy is isolating you and maybe controlling and manipulating your every move. That's really dangerous because that could be a predator, and you do not want to put yourself in a situation where you have gotten yourself so isolated from everything and everyone that now, if you are scared, you don't even feel like you can reach out and call your mother or your sister or your best friend because you haven't talked to them in so long, because he has created a scenario in which he is your whole life. And you no longer have that closeness to the things that you were attached to when you first met. Number 8, stop being overly available. You want to talk about something that's unattractive. Even if you think about things that have nothing to do with people, think about during the pandemic, whenever things were scarce, like toilet paper. Everybody wanted it because they were so afraid it wasn't gonna be available. A Birkin bag. Those things are not like advertised, plastered everywhere because they're a rare, valuable thing that people invest in because they know there isn't an endless supply of them. And they're willing to pay more for that, invest more in that, because they realize it is a very special thing. So when you want to be an interesting person, then you have to be interested in things. You can't just only be interested in the guy and have none of your own interests, because all of a sudden, the person that they were interested in initially, who had dreams and goals and hobbies and friends, you're not even the same person anymore. You're living for them, and that's boring. So think of that movie, The Runaway Bride.
Oh, she's running. Where's she going? Lock the door!
Remember, she kept running away every time she got engaged, and it was a time to get to the wedding, and she didn't follow through. But what was happening is she was losing herself in every single relationship, and it got to the point where she didn't even know what kind of eggs she liked. She just ate whatever eggs the guy she was dating at the time they liked, and she had no idea who she was. That's not attractive, and it certainly isn't sustainable. Think about like plants even. I love plants, but if you overwater, water's a good thing, right? But if you overwater, they're going to die. You are going to drown the plant. You are going to drown the seedling, and it will rot and it will die. And the same thing will happen to a relationship when you're smothering it to death, having none of your own interests. You're always in somebody's face. That pushes people away. It is not attractive. Get a life, have a life. Stop being overly available. Have other things to do. Number 9, you have to heal your anxious attachment style and behavior. What am I talking about? This has to do with when you behave, when you're attached to something or someone, let's say a girlfriend or a guy, anything where what they do determines your happiness. So they said they were going to call it 5 o'clock. In this case, we're talking about men, and he doesn't call it 5. Anything could have happened, but you spiral. You literally like, oh my word, he doesn't like me. He's not interested in me anymore. Maybe he's seeing somebody else. You like go inside your head and create some psychotic, like crazy scenario that may be so far from the truth. Anything could have happened. But what happens is when you don't have a life and your whole life becomes that person and you've never healed your anxious attachment, you will behave like a crazy person, which of course, what does that do? Pushes them further away. Nobody wants to get married to a basket case who, if you don't text message as soon as they text you and you're like freaking out, and then they walk in the door and you go off on them and they're like, whoa, what happened here? That's anxious attachment, when you can't pause, because the power is in that pause. Take a breath, calm down, realize that it's not the end of the world. You got stuff to do. You got a life to live. You got, your own passions to pursue. That's attractive. But then that goes into the next point, which is 10 actually, is to heal the old trauma wounds and triggers from your nervous system. I sat here and I listed off all of these things that are making it very difficult to become a wife. But there's a reason that it's difficult. People need to be having healing done on their nervous system. Here's why. Because life has been hard. There has been adverse childhood events and experiences. There has been maybe a divorce. Maybe mom or dad didn't stay together. So now there's abandonment issues. There could be daddy issues. There could be insecurities. There's all of these different things that are trauma wounds in the nervous system that, if not cured, reversed, released, everything that you see that reminds the subconscious part of your brain of something that you dealt with in your life that you never healed from, that is going to create a triggered reaction. I'll give you an example. Your dad used to look at your mom a certain way right before he did A, B, and C. You meet a man who reminds you of that time when you were 11 and dad looked at mom that one way right before he did this, this, and this. You see that your brain remembers, your nervous system remembers, and you don't respond, you react. And you don't just react, you overreact. You freak out on this man, and he has no idea what's going on. It's not even this man's fault. He didn't actually do anything. But something in your nervous system and something in your subconscious remembered that thing that you haven't been healed from when you were 8 or 10 or 12 or 14 or whatever. Dating is going to be a disaster. So that is why therapy is so important, especially holistic therapy, where you're dealing not just with talking and rehashing and reliving what happened and what they said and what they did. There's only so much help that talk therapy can do. But when you can get down to the roots, to the nitty gritty, and pull out the pain and the hurt and the wound from the roots and rip it out and be done with it and clear out that old pain, now you can get calm enough to date with confidence and date with peace. Because one thing men do want, more than just respect, they want peace. They do not want drama. They do not want hysterical. They do not want to be in an agitated house where everybody is just like on pins and needles and walking on eggshells. No one wants to live like that, but men certainly do not. So if you can be at peace with yourself because you are a healed human, instead of completely unhinged, you are going to completely change your ability to date in a healthy way, attract a provider, protector, husband, and be in a healthy, sustainable marriage that lasts. This is all coming up not because of the epidemic of all of these women out here that want to find husbands, but because it goes deeper. It goes deeper than just not being able to find husbands. This whole energy, this agitated, unhinged, bothered way of dating is ruining women's health and their relationships. And so I want to talk deeper into what we can do about it so that we can have a higher success rate in finding husbands that are provider, protector men for these wonderful women out there that just don't know that they need to heal their nervous system. So what I've done is I've created an event. It's a woman's feminine energy event, October the 24th. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It will be on Zoom. You can register at class.woosacoaching.com Or you can also just go to my website, which is woosacoaching.com. And right there at the top, you'll be able to click on that and see how you can register for the class. We're gonna be talking about all of it. We're gonna be talking about dating for the purpose of marriage. We're gonna be talking about how to heal our trauma wounds, how to become breezy, how to become unbothered so that we can be magnetic and stand out from the crowd, not be like everyone else that's just out here like behaving very poorly in social situations and dating situations, at work, in the family, and on and on and on, because they're so bothered by so many things because of those old issues, traumas, and adverse experiences that have never been healed. So please meet me October the 24th, 7 p.m. Tell all your lady friends, girlfriends about this event, especially if you want to be married, if you want to be healthy, if you want to have healthy, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, if you want to help calm that agitated, anxious feelings when you feel out of control. And like, if you don't control everything, everything's just going to fall apart. We gotta calm down. That's literally the meaning of my business, Woosa. When we can't get calm and we can't get to a place of peace when things aren't going our way, it is so bad for women's health, and it's also bad for relationships. It causes everything to go left, and that is not what we want. So if you like this kind of content, please leave me a like. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear a comment. And please sign up with me. I always try to keep my price as low as possible so that everybody can participate. Again, woosacoaching.com or class.woosacoaching.com. October the 24th, 7 p.m. I hope to see you there. Everybody have a great day. Bye.